The government executed another inmate last night and has an execution scheduled for tonight with less than a week until President-elect Biden is sworn into office. The attorneys for both men say their clients are recovering from COVID-19 and executing them would cause cruel and unusual punishment. The Supreme Court denied that argument Thursday night. Adam Pinsker reports.
In 1993, a court convicted Corey Johnson of murdering 7 people over a 3-year span to further his drug empire in the Richmond, Virginia area.
The very concerning thing about his case is that he has never had a chance to present that evidence in court, the full scope of the evidence. No court has ever held a hearing to decide whether or not Mr. Johnson is intellectually disabled and therefore whether or not he's categorically exempt from the death penalty.
Johnson's attorney, Donald Salzman, says the government withdrew a request to pursue a death sentence against one of his client's co-defendants because he was deemed to be intellectually incapacitated. He says Johnson scored well below the normal range for an IQ score on multiple tests.
He was utterly incapable of learning in school. He repeated second grade 3 times. He also repeated 3rd and 4th grade.
Salzman says that his client had COVID-19 and executing him with the drugs the federal government uses in the lethal injection process could cause severe complications.
Where we've had experts who have testified that COVID, as people may have heard, damages the lungs and exactly the same parts of the lungs that the drug that is used to execute people also damages. And our experts believe that because his COVID condition makes him particularly susceptible to that damage, that he is likely to suffer an unconstitutional execution, experiencing the feelings of drowning and waterboarding.
A 3rd inmate scheduled for execution this week, Dustin Higgs, also had the coronavirus, and his attorney, Sean Nolan, says that x-rays showed damage to his client's lungs caused by the virus, and he says that Higgs isn't the only person on death row to have come down with the coronavirus.
The number I heard today is 39 of the men on death row have tested positive. That's not a confirmed number through the Bureau of Prisons, but it's a number that I've heard. We represent a number of people there.
Higgs was sentenced to death in 1996 for his role in murdering 3 people at a National Wildlife Refuge in Maryland. But his attorney, Sean Nolan, says Higgs' co-defendant, Willis Haynes, was the triggerman.
And at his trial, the government's theory was that he was the heavy. He was the one who did everything. This was all Mr. Haynes, and that he killed these women. The jury deadlocked, and he ended up getting a life sentence.
The Department of Justice said in a press release last fall that Higgs' sentence and appeal were affirmed 17 years ago. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.